Welcome, Half-Bloods, to another Half-Blood pod. We are Scott and William. William, how are you feeling?
Fantastic.
Me too. We're going to be talking about the Order of the Phoenix today and how amazing it is. And we're very excited for that. Before we do that, William, do you have something to share with me and the listeners?
I do. I'm sick of being poked at like a dancing monkey, so I brought something to poke at you with. I just want you to know that you are not the first person to create a book-only trivia game of Harry Potter. I have one that is 26 years old from the year 2000.
If this game continued, then my game wouldn't exist, because I played this game and it inspired me to say there are good book trivia games. Why did they stop making them? This game is amazing. My cousin,
it is amazing.
My niece has this game. It's incredible.
Yeah. My wife Brianna, she founded it. Brianna founded it at Half Price Books, our local Half Price Books here in San Antonio, and she got it for me for my birthday. It's super cool. It's got like a bunch of instructions and stuff. I hadn't really like fully played it or anything like that yet, but it's just super cool. It has this little like sorting hat, and then you put the little pieces in of different colored rocks, and you draw out like what house you're going to be in to get sorted.
So sick.
So
those are like Mancala gems.
I know. Speaking of Mancala, I played that with my kids the other day too.
Great game. And
then they have like the cool, like these are so heavy, like a chest of drawers and all books, a stack of books and all that stuff. Anyway, it doesn't matter about that stuff. It's super cool. And I just want to give the people who haven't already read this, I'm going to just pull some random cards out and quiz you on it. But this is for weaklings, obviously, because it has multiple choice. Although you don't have to give it multiple choice. You could just ask it in one. But it has questions on them. And then on the back, and it's strictly book. This is literally only the book. The movie didn't even exist when this came out. This is amazing. This is like if you were licensed and like given
exactly
more of a budget, or I don't know, you know what I mean? Like a team to like instead of just you like in your spare time over the course of 6 years doing something, which is amazing, but like, you know what I mean?
There's
like if you were
so many questions. There's so many questions just from book one in this game. It's incredible.
Yeah. It blows my mind. Like I look at this stack of cards. That's like a couple hundred cards, and every card has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions on it.
Yep.
Like
beautiful.
It's incredible. So here's an example. Like, who tries to save Harry's life during the first Quidditch match? That's super easy.
Snape. Severus Snape.
Yeah. And the multiple choice it gives you is Lee Jordan, Professor Severus Snape, or C. Rubeus Hagrid.
It only gives you 3. I feel like in this game, it's like if you get like, I don't know, there's like a penalty for using multiple choice. I can't remember. It's like
maybe I haven't read the full instructions yet, but here's like a really hard one. Like, here's an example. Like, the Quidditch goalposts remind Harry of what non-magic toy? A, bubble blowing hoops. B, huge bangles. C, rubber rings.
What? I mean, it reminds me of bubble blowing.
Yeah, and that's the answer. It is that. Yeah. But like, that's like random. Like, if you didn't get that multiple choice, like that's a question worthy of you. Like,
it is.
It's really hard. Yeah.
All I could think of was basketball. I remember playing this game, and one of the questions was like, what are the, I think we asked you this question after like I couldn't get it, and they were like, how could anyone know this? And it was like, what are the colors of the second set of doors as you enter Gringotts Bank?
I'm sure. Was that the actual question? I don't know if off the top of my head. I'd have to think harder.
Well, I know that like one set of doors is like silver and the other set is gold, and I can't remember which. But
this is a good one. What color are Bane's hair and body? Bane the Centaur.
Bane is
what are his hair and body color?
He's a chestnut.
And I'll give you the multiple choice: brown, black, auburn. Not chestnut.
He's black.
He's black. Yep.
I don't know what chestnut is.
What does Daedalus Diggle conjure up to celebrate the downfall of Lord Voldemort?
Fireworks, sparks.
That's close. Shooting stars over Kent.
They're not shooting stars.
And
That's what Muggles think they are.
right. Yeah, exactly. And that's funny. And it's technically, it's guessed that is Daedalus Diggle. It's not like 1,000,000% confirmed because McGonagall's like, that'll be Daedalus Diggle. He never had any sense. Yeah.
This is true.
Anyway, and so like they have it in categories of like a creature, a spell, I don't know. It's amazing. And it blows my mind how many questions they came up with out of one book.
That is insane.
Incredible.
Truly insane.
Yeah. Anyway, we don't have to sit here and just like go over like obscure trivia questions for no reason, but
yes, we do. That is what we do. But again, if they made 7 of those games, I guarantee you the much needed book only ultimate unofficial Harry Potter trivia
it would not be much needed.
Not exist.
It would just be
it would not be much needed.
I
would have just played this game with you for the last, decade and a half of our lives.
Yeah, exactly. It would not be much needed because they would have already done it. So I don't understand why they can't do this anyway.
Like, because the movies, I mean, they can't. They're not going to sell anything that doesn't have Daniel Radcliffe's face on it and have to do with the billions they put into millions they put in for the billions they made on those movies. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, I guess so. But anyway, and it also comes in a super cool case that opens and stuff.
My niece does definitely not have that sick case. Maybe she lost it. I don't know.
Good condition on this thing. Shout out Half Price Books.
William, that is a great pull. Good job pulling your weight on this podcast. So, great job.
For once.
You said that we don't sit here and answer random trivia questions, but you are wrong. That is exactly what we do. And we did post today on social media. We posted the Can You Stump William with a question. And people got excited. We have some entries, and I have a new one for you today of a fan-written question, Can You Stump William? Are you ready?
Okay. I am ready. Sorry, I was trying to pull up our Excel of the
William
Order of the Phoenix.
There was no time for you to do that beforehand. That's obvious. I mean, nothing you could have done. William, this is from Michael Johnson, longtime follower, early game buyer. He's commented all along the way on both accounts.
Gold medalist?
Potentially is former Olympic or former world record holder, but based on his pictures, probably not. His handle is Victor Ronsky, so pretty sick handle. But
that's a sick handle. Yeah.
I know. Here's his question. In Half-Blood Prince, when Harry and Dumbledore enter the Pensieve to visit Bob Ogden's memory, Harry observes Morphin crooning a rhyme to a snake in Morphin's hand. What is that rhyme? He would like basically word for word.
Hissy snake. Slither on the floor. You be good to Morphin, or he'll nail you to the door.
That is correct. Hissy. I'm not sure I heard you say little snaky. Hissy, little snaky is what he wrote. I never actually.
I mean, the tape will never lie. Frankly, I don't care if I did or didn't. I think it's impressive either way. But hissy, little snaky, slither on the floor. You be good to Morphin, or I'll nail you to the door. Nice.
Incredible stuff.
That's a good one.
He said that he has never met someone in his life that has even been able to say any word of that rhyme, and that the Carlin brothers, who people love to reference, I've never watched any of their videos, but he said that they were on a tour and he asked them that question, and they're famous for their Harry Potter knowledge. They were like, no clue, don't even know what you're talking about. So congratulations, William. You're better than famous.
That's a good one.
Yeah. You got mad skills, dog.
Are you if someone asked you that, what would your reply? You'd be like, I have no idea.
He did ask me that, and I had no idea. Is it weird, to have affirmations that you're better than people? Like, that's just what that smile said, It is nice being better than you,
No, I'm not better than you. But
Oh, wipe that smirk off your face then.
no, that was genuinely curious. Like I was wondering like if you had any idea. Like I'm sure you know the scene. You can see it in your head. Like you know
Yeah,
that scene
yeah.
happening.
Once you said it,
Um,
yeah.
Jim
Maybe
Dale's
maybe if
version of
he
that's really good.
maybe if he gave me the first line, I could have answered it. But I did. I also like didn't sit with it. Like I did skip right to reading the answer, but I wouldn't have got it. No way.
Right.
No how. No way.
Mhm.
Congratulations. You are now 2 for 2 on user submitted or
That was a good one.
follower submitted questions. So congratulations. And thank you, Michael, for your submission.
Thank
Pretty
you,
exciting.
Michael. That was a good one.
He's got Mad Game. Like I said, longtime follower, longtime commenter. Good dude.
Fantastic name, Victor Ronsky.
Pretty sick. Pretty sick. He's also wrote in some corrections to the game. So also respect there. Man.
Also awesome.
Yes. Yes. Which
It's kind of like when I
Go
make
ahead.
stuff. Sometimes I make like Voldy Gone Voldy is like my like avatar name on some things.
That is what usually your March Madness submissions are.
Yeah.
Multi Gone Multi. Your ESPN username. Or sometimes you go with Sad Baller 21, I feel like.
Nope, that's. Did I do that?
Yes, definitely.
That might have been like right after something terrible happened. Like
I think it was right after Kawhi like sprained an ankle or stuff like that.
yeah. Well shot at him. Glad he left. Wouldn't have
Uh,
Wimby.
William, I have a question about Wemby. I don't want you to like regurgitate any of your bad takes that everyone hates, but I saw Wemby do something that I don't think I've ever seen before, and I'm curious if you've seen it. You've watched him a lot. He was guarding late in the fourth quarter of this last game against the Blazers, and his man was out at the corner, and he was in the paint. And while he was the primary defender, while his man was shooting that corner three, he was in the paint, and he just jumped as high as he could. And I think he did
Yeah,
it
he
just
does
to
that
like
all the time.
he just like blocks, but he wasn't like leaping out at them. He just jumped straight up and down. I think he's just blocking the rim. Like, is that what he's doing? Just like you can't see
I
the
think
rim.
he's just like getting in their head, I guess. I was just like, I might as well jump, right? Like he might as well do something. So he's like, Cornette kind of does that too.
I've never seen
he
anyone
does that
do
all the time. Like he does it like from like he'll be at like the free throw line and it's like a shooter. He's like, I'm not really gonna like run out there, like you're kind of giving up that shot, and he'll like just jump.
Yeah.
I mean, he's tall enough it'll mess with their head, I guess.
Yeah. They can't see the hoop. Like he jumps and his like shoulders are blocking the rim. Like I'd never seen it before. It seemed amazing.
Yeah, he does that a lot.
Doesn't matter though, because they're gonna run into the buzzsaw OKC. So yeah, I'm sorry. I was trying to rep KD and OKC. 2 for 1, baby.
No, I'm slowly driving away all of my friends and making them hate me and the Spurs. So can't blame me for wearing an OKC shirt.
Well, if KD pulls off the first 3-0 comeback in the history of the NBA playoffs
by sitting on the bench because he's not playing and he won't play.
Ewing effect. He's they're better without him.
Yeah. There you go.
Exactly. All right, William, back to the crux of the matter. We're supposed to keep these podcasts to an hour. I think we're going to put that to the test today, because today we're going to continue exploring the Order of the Phoenix. Last week, we defended against some of the haters and some of the things that they said. We called out Zogwarts, who actually coincidentally commented on one of our things on TikTok, William. It was pretty exciting, and I DM'd him instantly. He was like, exciting. Hey, I know who you are. I just trashed one of your videos. And he was like, cool, I don't care. So pretty fun. And today we're going to go on the offensive and talk about some of the amazing things about the Order of the Phoenix. One of the negatives here is like the pacing of the book is too slow, and it's got a lot of filler in it, which to me is ridiculous. If you don't like this book, you just don't like Harry Potter.
Preposterous.
You should go read the dictionary or the Old Testament or things that you might find
jump
enjoyable.
In the lake.
Anyways, I want to talk about universe expansion here. And the Order of Phoenix takes us to places that we have never been. And I don't mean that in a weird way. And that we explore so many different magical places that some we never really even go back to. It's just the fifth book that gives us that view. So I want to focus on those things. And I'm very excited. And any other opening thoughts before we jump in?
Nope. Love the fifth book. Love everything about it. I want to dive into this with you. Spray it on me.
Do it. So it's like a little bit of background, right? In the first book, we obviously spend a lot of time at Hogwarts. We also get Diagon Alley.
Mm.
That's like, where we get to go. Very exciting for us. Second book, we get to go to the Weasley home, which is very exciting. We get to see like just wizards being wizards all the time. It's very exciting for us. We also get to go to Nocturne Alley, so another step into wizarding villages. Then third book, we get to spend even more time at Diagon Alley, get to deep dive it. And we also get to go to Hogsmeade, which is very exciting. Then in the fourth book, we get a little more expansion. Really, it's the
Wider Wizard
Cup.
World.
It's the Quidditch World Cup, and yeah, we get to see the International. We get to see Durmstrang and Beauxbaton come. Then the fifth book, I feel like we go all out. We get expansion into finally another wizard dwelling, which we haven't really had besides the Burrow. We get to go to Grimmauld Place. We get to go to the Ministry of Magic, which we have heard so much about over these last 4 years. We get to go there twice. Very exciting. We, of course, get to go to St. Mungo's again twice, and we don't get to go back there. So this is our one and only trip to St. Mungo's.
And both of those are like Russian nesting dolls. There's all the different floors and all the different departments and all that stuff that you hear. And so it's just like within that, it's amazing.
Yes, and this is the only time. We get a little bit of Ministry of Magic at the Quidditch World Cup when Arthur's talking about what's happening. We get bits and pieces. This is like shows us the whole blueprint, shows us everything. St. Mungo's, same thing. Again, we never get to go back. And then will we get to it today? I don't know. But we also get to explore the world of the giants. And if we don't get there, I can Trojan horse this into another pod. But we go to some incredible places. I want to talk about all 3 plus giants, all 4 of these, and give these things some love, and how amazing it is that the Order of the Phoenix takes us there, and how I don't think any of it is filler or fluff or anything like that. And I don't like you if you think that.
Ditto.
All right, William, we're going to start at Grimmauld Place. Grimmauld Place is the headquarters of the Order of the Phoenix. It is the ancestral home of the Black family. Again, up to this point, we've only been to the Burrow, which is like a nice, peaceful home, and we get some fun magic there. This is a dark home that has turned even more evil through neglect and through basically the original owners of the house not wanting any of the current residents of the house there. And I'm fascinated by all of this. I wrote down 9 things that basically try to hurt them, attack them, that they have to deal with in some way, shape, or form. And I just want to run through those, and you tell me which one's the most horrifying to you. And to me, every second that we're in Grimmauld Place is a delight. And again, it's just, it's only the second time we go to a wizard's home. And it's, I don't know. I love every second that we're in there. Any thoughts before I run through those 9 scary things?
No, I have a lot of that. I love Grimmauld Place. I'm excited to react to the 9.
Number 1, we have the doxy infested curtains, which would actually be so much fun to just be like shooting animals that could bite you. Like how much fun would that be? There's no Muggle equivalent of that, because that's just like horrifying and like also like dangerous to like do in a Muggle world. But
I thought of it like if you live in Australia and they have like lots of venomous spiders and snakes and stuff. Like even like me, like I grew up, one of the houses I grew up in was like on a bayou, and like you go out there and like pull a snake out of the water, and there might be an alligator out there. But again, like not really bothering you.
Right.
I'm horrified of snakes, so I would not go out there anywhere near the snakes, but there were tons of them. Where I live now, wild hogs, but again, they're not living in the curtains in my house.
No. One spray won't take them out.
I bet I could get my kids to do chores like way easier if they got to shoot little demon fairies that came out of the thing and with like super soakers.
Yeah, it's literally a video game. It's like, if you get bit, we got the antidote right here. You'll be fine. It's pretty awesome. Sirius gets a bad bite from a snuff box. His whole hand turns crusty brown. He thinks it's from wart cap powder. This is my nominee for the scariest one. A many-legged pair of tweezers tries to stab Harry as it crawls up his arm. Horrifying.
I think the music box is definitely the most scary.
Okay. Number 4, the musical box that emitted a sinister twinkling tune. They all got sleepy, but Ginny, who has some experience with mind control,
with these matters,
was like, no, thank you.
I'm pretty sure like they would have been put like in a permanent trance, like if they had just let it keep going.
Or then like, the pair of tweezers comes out and just stabs them all in the eyes, and game over.
Right.
pretty horrifying. You're right. That is number one. They also find a Horcrux. They find a heavy locket that no one could
Mhm.
open. Dum dum dum. Pretty exciting. This might actually be the scariest. They find spiders as large as saucers. Are we talking like the teacup saucers or like plates? What's a saucer?
I assumed it was a saucer, like a teacup,
So like human sized spiders.
which
Like these are
like the yeah, like a tarantula sized, which I've seen lots
many.
of those, but
ha- Have you seen many of them inside just a normal room? That's like arachnophobia. That's horrifying.
no, but I've seen like 50 of them walking across the road in West Texas.
At the same time, but you've seen 50 like
Yes.
oh my gosh.
Yeah,
That's
they're like migrating and they're insane. They're everywhere in West Texas. In like certain times of year, they're everywhere. It is horrifying. Like if you do
did you
not like spiders, you will not like it. These tarantulas, these I think they're called like a West Texas tarantula or whatever. And like they're everywhere. Like
have you
they're
have you
it's it's crazy.
have you ever followed them back to their
Yeah, they so
grandfather,
they will
Aragog?
yeah, it's literally like that. It says follow the spiders. So like they will be like going in a line. There's a bunch of them like they're like one after the other, and there'll be like a dozen of them you'll see like within an hour, and they're all like heading in the same direction. And like they go up, they like walk across the road, they go up a fence, they go over, they go down, they go through the yard, back up like they're just
Nope.
wild,
Time to
wild.
move. If that was
Um,
if there was an army of those trim just going through my backyard, crawling up my garage and around it, I would just move. There's no way. It's over.
yeah,
There's no way. There's no way. There's no way.
tarantulas.
No gracias. From there, we have a grandfather clock that shoots heavy bolts at people. Like
That's awesome.
that's death, though. Like you get one to the temple, like
Well, I mean,
dead.
how heavy? I mean, how hard is it shooting? You know. But
How?
I always thought of that too. Like, I was like, is it creating its own bolts? Is it like very limited on like ammo? Like,
Yeah,
has it
very
not had
finite.
anyone to shoot at, or does it only shoot at like unclean, not fully purebloods? You know, like
Yeah, that's a good
something
question.
terrible like that.
Every time it shoots one, it like is one bolt away from just collapsing because it keeps wasting its bolts. I don't know.
I imagine it like Cogsworth, in Beauty and the Beast.
Yes, good call. I like
uh,
that.
yeah.
From there, Mundungus saves Ron from a pair of purple robes that tried to strangle him. Horrifying. You open a coat closet and the thing's just trying to kill you. It's pretty horrifying. I do picture like Doctor Strange, which is usually humorous, used as humor, but in reality, that'd be scary. And then Molly, of course, tries to tackle a Bogart and fails miserably. So those are 9 things that we get over 1.5 chapters that I absolutely love every second of all these things.
hmm Yeah, I think this is the kind of stuff that's so underrated about it because, like,
Yes.
if the more you get into this, like if you're excited by the world building and the expansion of the knowledge and just like creating ambiance in this made up universe that's super fun, like this is all really cool stuff that matters.
Yes.
And you got to get it somewhere. And a lot of it comes in this book. So you should be grateful for it. Um, you know, and again, like this is such lightweight, like fantasy compared to like the heavy,
Yes.
dense crap that people like, which is fine if you do, but like, you know, this is like the bare minimum relative to like, what it could be for fantasy novels.
As I was Google searching like Grimmauld Place and just, doing a little bit of research this morning, I feel like there was a couple Reddit chains of like, they live smack in the middle of London. They're surrounded by muggles. Like, did Sirius and Regulus, were they just trapped inside all day? Like, did these people ever leave the house? Like, how?
I I thought of that as like an interesting thing, like right, like so, like a lot of the wizards happen to live out in the country. You know what I mean?
Right.
That we see,
Right.
like the Lovegoods, the Weasleys, um, even
Diggers,
like
maybe.
the Tonks's house is like by a pond. Like they're not like smack in the city, and I feel like
Right.
it's like a weird place to be if you're
Yeah,
a wizard. Like Percy lives
it
in
is.
London. Like when you get rid of like
Sure.
the annoyance of commuting, whether you live in London or you live in Edinburgh, like what does it matter if you just take a flu network to work every day? You know.
Right.
Um.
Mm.
So I don't know. I always thought it was kind of weird, like living in the. You would think you'd want to be like the Malfoys, so you have like they're filthy rich and they have like a big manor that's like
Right.
on like 100 100 acres in every direction, and like you can you know. But yeah, it is kind of weird. They live in the city surrounded by the things that they hate.
Exactly. I don't know. It's a
Although,
little
I
weird.
mean, maybe there's like neighborhoods that are of London that are like more magical, you know, like how like there's like the towns, certain towns like Godric's Hollow and Ottery St. Catchpole are known to be like more like wizardy,
Right.
you know, like there's
Right.
like historically a lot of stuff there.
Or maybe they just spent their time cursing people out the window, you know? Maybe they liked being around
Yeah,
muggles. Little
that's
little light
true.
muggle torture. I don't know. I don't know. I I don't know if I have, like, a whole section that we're gonna deep dive on, like, Fred and George. We definitely will get some Fred and George and, like, what they do to Umbridge, but also we get a lot of skiving snack boxes, we get extendable ears while we're here, and basically everything that they're dealing with, the wart cap powder, the doxy eggs, every substance that they find, Fred and George are pocketing it, and they're experimenting, and that is just so much fun. Like, as a kid who I'd like to think I'd be somewhat like Fred and George, like, I love everything that they're doing.
Can I tell you what my favorite part of Grimmauld Place is? Unless it's going to
Sure.
step on more, but it's definitely the Sirius Black's family tree. I think
Yes.
that's like the most illuminating and interesting thing that you learn about one, a character who's important, Sirius, and it endears you to him. Like this poor
Yes.
guy spent most of his life in prison and in this house, which is horrible. And he's like he's not trying to play a victim to Harry because he's trying to be nice. He's just like you can't tell like this is what my family is. He's
Right.
like, I didn't know you were related to the Malfoys. He's like, does it matter? He's like, we're all related. But Harry doesn't know because that's Harry's like us.
Right.
Like this is all new. He doesn't know any of this stuff. And this is
Right.
like really important and interesting that like all these people are related and like they have like these deeper ties as a small community. It's absolutely fascinating
It is.
to learn like, oh, Sirius has a brother? Or like, oh yeah. Like anyone who's nice in the family, they get burned out, like blasted away out of the tree, you know? Like it's pretty cool.
Andromeda. It is.
Yeah.
Um, Regulus is so cool. We should make an HBO show about him. Everyone would watch. Um, what was I going to say? Yes, that is fascinating, and it reintroduces us to Death Eaters who are going to show right back up near the end of this book. It's a great way to bring all them back to the forefront. Not filler. All great stuff. Um, that's
Hmm.
what I got on Grimmauld Place. Anything else before we leave and head to the Ministry of Magic?
No?
All right, let's go to the Ministry of Magic. Harry goes there for his hearing, and that is definitely where we learn most. And basically, we learn it like JK doesn't just like show us a sign and here's all the floors. Basically, Harry gets on the elevator, gets on the lift, and hits all the floors, and it tells us what all the
Right.
offices are, what all the departments are. It's fascinating, truly. And as all of you know by this point, this podcast is brought to you by the much needed book only ultimate unofficial Harry Potter trivia game. And William, I have a ton of questions about the Ministry of Magic. I'm obviously not going to give you all of them, but I will give you this level 6 question. Can you name 7 departments that make up the Ministry of Magic?
Uh, s- Seven departments.
Yes, sir.
The Department of Mysteries.
Very good.
Um, let's see. Um, International Magical Cooperation.
Yes,
Uh, Department of Games and Sports.
correct.
Which I'm not entirely sure needs to be its own department.
That's what we're going to talk about right after this.
um, let's see, what else do we got? Department of uh, why am I blanking on this? International Magical Cooperation, Games Board. Department of the Goblin Liaison Office, Department of Regulation and Control of Magical Creatures.
That is the one. Thank you.
Yeah, that. Um, Magical Law Enforcement.
Yes. One more, I think.
Like the Flu Network stuff. Magical Transport.
Yes, still one more then. I thought you had that one. One more after that.
There's like all these the Magical Reversal Squad, which is
This is
Department of
the
Magical Accidents.
Yes, that's the one. Magical
Yeah,
accidents
Magical
and
Accidents.
catastrophes.
Catastrophe. Yeah, man, that's cool.
incredible.
Yeah, think
I
about
want
that
to.
stuff. Like, open your mind. Enjoy the fact that there's like all these weird things happening in the wizard world that they do to like hide it from the muggles.
Yes,
It's incredible.
which if we weren't trying to hide, if wizards weren't trying to hide from muggles, like would there be like two departments basically, like law enforcement and like magical games and sports? I guess that's not true. Could, the beast would still be there, I guess, but they do a lot less because they spend most of their time just hiding
Do
creatures
you
from
have to be a
muggles, right?
wizard to ride a broom?
Probably. I don't know. Like even Neville couldn't get his broom to like pop into his hand. Like I
Well,
don't
that's because
know.
he was a chicken. He didn't want to get on it.
That's a
But
good
yeah, you probably would. Because I
question.
was thinking, I was like, because then like, if the whole world played Quidditch, like the best Quidditch players would be muggles.
That's
Just
fascinating.
by the law of numbers, right?
Yeah.
Like if everyone loved it the same, like odds are the best players would be muggles.
Good call. Okay, so you set the stage correctly. Like this is so fun to just learn all of these different things, go through all these different offices. I'm just going to ask. We're not going to go through them all. I'm just going to ask a couple questions. You've already hinted at one of them. The Department of Magical Games and Sports has three things. One, the British and Irish Quidditch League. So basically, we have a state-run professional sports league. That's exciting. Two, the official Gobstones Club. What a waste of time and money. And three, the ludicrous patents office. So my two questions are, is there anything that needs defunding more than the official Gobstones Club? And two, what do you think actually happens in the ludicrous patents office? And why is it a part of Department of Magical Games and Sports?
I have no idea what to do with the ludicrous patents office. Like, I mean, like, are they just like bewitching new things to fly? Like, I don't know. Like,
Yeah,
um,
good
but
question.
I did think of the now that I think about it, the Department of Magical Games and Sports being its own thing, it would make sense. I was like, if you think about how much people really love sports,
Yeah.
like,
And they've
you
got to
know,
keep it away from muggles. It's got to be under the ministry for
yeah,
that reason.
it would be also because the magical community is so small. Something like Quidditch would be like a mega big deal because it's like something that unifies pretty much everyone except Hermione, right? Um, and even Hermione likes to go to Quidditch, like she
She
goes,
does.
she
She
just doesn't
cheers.
get it. Um, But like Luna likes it enough. Like she's a total weirdo, but she likes it enough to commentate, and she's like gets decked out for the games and stuff.
True.
So like the cultural significance of something like a sport that it's all what they play would be very important and probably part of big part.
I
It would have
agree.
its own department. Why not?
And again, they've got to hide it from the Muggles. Otherwise, like, does it not need to be run by the federal government? Probably not. But yeah, it does. They've got to be safe. Official Gobstones Club, though. Why why is the Ministry of Magic running that? You can hide that from Muggles pretty easily. Like, defund that immediately. My tax dollars should not be paying
Maybe
for no.
well, maybe it's about like just like gobstones is like still really popular and there's like international tournaments and stuff. I don't know.
It's not popular though. It's not. It's for losers. Okay, it's stupid. Defund
It
it.
shoots
Um,
acid in your face.
ludicrous patents to like is
I have no
everything
idea
at
what to do with that. It's just a funny thing to hear. I have no idea what to do with that. Ludicrous patents. Like, what does a patent have to do? Unless there's another meaning of patent that we aren't aware of that has something to do with sports.
yeah,
Um,
true. Maybe it
but
is like a patent for a new sport. I mean, we read in Quidditch Through the Ages all the different sports that they tried to do. Maybe it's like an old office where they were still playing those stupid games where they'd fly through dragon layers and everyone would die, stuff like that. I don't know.
yeah,
Or it's like
you
everything
like
in
it.
Wizards,
You like it.
Wizards Weasley, Wizard Wheezies. Like, do they have to put a patent in for their magical hats and all that stuff? But again, why would that
Yeah.
be under Ludo Bagman?
But like that would be like that should be like under Department of Magical Law Enforcement because like ultimately that's about enforcing like
They're
a
so
patent
they're
or
so
law, about like something,
right,
So
right.
what's the biggest
Uh,
department, do you think? Magical law enforcement?
Absolutely, they have 4.5 offices under them. They have the improper use of magic office, which like could cover everything, I
That's
guess. But
probably
that's,
like a huge, yeah.
yeah, which is what always who's dealing with Harry when he's doing underage magic. Then the misuse of Muggle artifacts, very small office actually, just two people really, uh, with Arthur. But the Auror office could be massive based on the amount of
Pretty
criminals out
big.
there. And then the Wisengamot is basically the entire like judicial system of the wizarding community, as I understand it. So they have a whole branch of the U.S. government in their little department. So got to be huge. Got to be.
Hmm.
And I feel like Department of Magical Accidents and Catastrophes really should just be a part of magical law enforcement, but it was already so big they just kind of squished it over. But I would like to know what happens in
That
the
one probably would be a big department
yes,
because,
these are yeah. Go.
like, like someone like blows up like their house with like some kind of magic bomb experiment or something weird happens, right? And then like green flames are shooting over the Lovegood's house, and or because like they did something weird, and like now
Yes.
everyone can see, and they got to go undo all that. Something weird happens.
And I imagine like when Pettigrew blew up the street, like yes, all the Aurors went there, but also all of the Obliviators went there, and like Accidental Magical Reversal Squad, and like
Right. They
all,
talk about
all,
that. Fudge in the third book, Fudge talks about that. She hadn't invented the word aura because he says only trained
yes.
hit wizards from the trained
Yes,
hit wizards just had not
yes.
invented the word aura yet. Which hit wizards sounds sick, by the way.
Yes, it does. You don't want the hit wizards after you. Within the Department of Magical Accidents and Catastrophes, we have the Muggle-worthy excuse committee. Are these people just sitting around being like, in like Men in Black when like
gas explosion?
Yes, Kay is always like, well, there was a gas explosion and some light from Jupiter reflected off a balloon and exploded some gas. Like they just sitting around thinking of way to explain things to Muggles.
Yeah. Or they can just be like Dumbledore does to the lady in the adoption office, Mrs. Cole.
Yeah.
And he's like, this should explain it. He just grabs a blank piece of paper and like obliviates her. She's like, yep. Which is the Force. Like, these are not the droids you're looking for.
And then just get her drunk.
You don't need to see my identification.
Too easy. I wanted to talk about the biggest defunding again. Mine's the Gobstones Club. Where would you most want to work?
Are they really taking up that much money though? The Gobstones Club?
I don't know. Like I don't
magical
know.
Magical games and sports. Like... I want to take up magical games and sports. That sounds maybe not the most fulfilling, but definitely fun.
Right. I don't know. I lived my whole life behind a desk. Like all of these seem very like out in the field kind of things, and I just I don't have a lot of experience, out in the field.
You know what? Actually, the magic reversal squad would be pretty fun. I think.
Just checking out.
Like you got to be like, oh man, someone in Dublin, because it covers like I think Ireland is part of this. Like Ireland is united with Great Britain in this,
right?
So you'd be like, oh man, someone in Ireland in Dublin did a spell gone wrong, and there's a weird thing happening. We got to go right there and go fix something.
Your stories would be endless. I mean, like Mr. Weasley, I feel like he's
not bad. Like
stories as well.
Like doing a regurgitating toilet. That sounds pretty fun.
Pretty hilarious.
Pretty interesting.
Yeah. I agree. So that's Harry's first trip into.
I don't want to do Bob
Magic.
Ogden's job. That's for sure.
You do or don't?
I do not. No.
Oh yes, absolutely. I was like,
I don't want to go. No. I don't want to go serve a summons to criminals,
to people who think they can attack Muggles. Yeah, anyone who thinks they have the right to attack Muggles, probably not. He's a good dude though, Bob Ogden. That's Harry's first trip to the Ministry of Magic. His second trip is almost exclusively in the Department of Mysteries. William, we didn't touch on the Department of Mysteries. Here's my understanding of the Department of Mysteries and what they study there. And you tell me where we should spend our time. One, they have a room that is basically a study of time. It's where the time turners are kept and therefore destroyed. It's where they have like time accelerators and reversers. Pretty fascinating. Can't imagine what weird things have gone on there. They also have a room where they study memories, all things thoughts, where they have those brains, which are physical manifestation of thoughts, I guess. We also visit a room that literally has a veil between life and death, I believe. If you walk through it, you are in the afterlife and can no longer return. And I guess you can hear through it. We'll talk some more about that. We have the Hall of Prophecies, which has every prophecy that has been able to be recorded. Seems like thousands and thousands of prophecies in there.
That's
Fascinating.
a job. Keeper of the Hall of Prophecy. That's quite a job.
I want to know more about that. Then we have what Dumbledore describes as a room that is locked at all times, which contains the most powerful force known to wizard kind, which is love. Not sure what happens in that room.
But he
Hopefully,
doesn't
it's
say
no, he does not.
love, but
And
it is love.
does he not say it's love? He says
No, he
it's
just
love.
says it is that quality that you possess in great quantity of which Voldemort has none. He doesn't say love, love, love. Like he doesn't say it. It's obvious that it is love.
That's fair. That's fair. And then the last room
Mhm.
that I'm aware of in the Department of Mysteries is the space chamber, where there's some floating planets. Where apparently, if you enter some portions of it, you will also be floating, which Luna, Ginny, and Ron enter. And Ron
Mm.
gets to see Uranus up close. Those are the six things that we learned about the Department of Mysteries. William, I don't know where to go from here. Guide me through this Department of Mysteries. Where should we spend a little bit of time here? I think we could spend, I don't know, like 3 podcasts on this, but where should we spend just a little
I'm
time?
interested in the veil. That would be the most interesting to me.
Yes.
The veil.
If-
Like what they do to like reach beyond it and like attempt to, because you're not like trying to bring people back. I think you're trying to like communicate and understand what goes on beyond the veil. And maybe they have some answers, but like they can't say because it's too, the knowledge would be too much to share. That's why there's unspeakables, right?
Unspeakables.
There's
Mhm.
definitely someone in there in some kind of weapons program too, who's like
Oh, for sure.
developing magical
For
A
sure.
bombs, magical nuclear weapons. Um, you know, so there's definitely
Why
some kind of magical Bletchley Park or, Los Alamos in there.
why is the veil in the center of, like, a room that's as big as, like, the dungeon where Harry gets in his inquiry by the Wizengamot? Like, why is it in such a big room? Like, do hundreds of wizards come and study this at the same time?
Well, my thought is that it kind of like, in the Hogwarts legacy game, like there's like this ancient stuff underneath it. So like whatever that is, that's been there for millennia.
Yeah. Did they
So
build the
like they
Ministry of
built
Magic
around it.
around? Yes, exactly.
Like that's like some kind of like there's like a portal in each like there's a portal like that in several places. So there's one in London, there's one in like wherever the Chinese ministry would be, right? Or like in like
So
these
this
ancient
is
sites around the world, these like pillars,
so this is like Doctor
like the
Strange.
sanctums. Yeah, the sanctum
Yeah.
sanctorum. Yeah, yeah, the sanctum,
Mm, interesting.
something like that.
And we build the ministry around these portals to the afterlife. That's fascinating.
Yeah. So there wouldn't be one of those in Makusa, um, but I don't know. I would be most fascinated by that. Like, there's something going on there, and like, it's. I don't understand the door that's locked at all times. Like, what happens if you? I'm imagining like when you open it, it's like an Interstellar when he like solves it by communicating love through space and time, and then at
Yeah.
the end, it's like going, "Why do the you know?"
I like that. I like that.
And I don't know what to do with that. Um, but I think the veil between life and death would be interesting. And it's fascinating how like only Harry and Luna can really like hear it. They're the only ones that are really marked by death
Right.
in their life.
So
You
can
know,
you only hear like is Harry hearing like Lily and James? Like is that what we come
I
to
don't
believe
know.
from
I mean,
that?
he's just hearing like the noise on the other side, right? Like they're not
He just
like
has a he
speaking
has a
audible
connection.
words to him, right? Like he's just connected to the other side some way,
Hmm.
you know?
If Sirius doesn't fall through that veil, like is there a chance he's alive?
No, I don't think so. I think he was killed by a killing curse or a curse that will capable of killing him.
Right. Right.
I think so. I thought that when I read it though. I mean, like I've thought that before, right? Like I
Right.
guess it could be like it's not ever specifically said. Um I just
Question. Right. I
some
agree. I agree. Hall of Prophecies. Have you seen a Minority Report? You know, when like a
yeah.
new precognition comes in and like that like cue ball just basically starts like making itself and then they write a name on it. Like, is that what happens in the Hall of Prophecy? Or does like Dumbledore like call somebody up? It's like, hey, I heard a prophecy. You should write it down. And then like they magically create the orb. Like, how does this work?
I think it would be automated. There's no way it would have to be like someone recounting it or like, telling them what they heard or something. There has to be some kind of like magical disturbance in the force and like it's created on its own, but it has to be like assigned and organized by the people there. So like some magical machine will like spit it out, the orb out, and then they have to categorize it and do something with it.
That is
But
fascinating.
also like I would assume that like prophecies are not all that common. So like the ones that are in there are like
Thousands of
from
years old.
like of like most of wizard history, like something like that. They're not like we don't like divination is taught. There's not that many witches and wizards to begin with, and there's not that many seers unless they're getting like every seer from every country in the world, which I doubt is it seems to be, right?
True. True.
So the
Seems
Hall of
like
Prophecy would not be the most interesting to me for sure, though. If I was
unless
given
unless
free
we have an
reign.
unless we have an HBO miniseries where there's an unspeakable who is the opposite of an unspeakable and basically goes and tries to stop all the prophecies that they think are bad. That could be pretty fascinating.
Mm, yeah,
But
sure.
you're right. Or what is their job? Like, are they going back and looking at old prophecies and being like, these were fulfilled, and then like recording that and like looking through history to be like, yeah, that happened. That could actually be pretty fascinating.
Yeah, that could be.
I don't
Yeah,
know. But again,
organization of it.
they're not allowed to tell anyone, so you're right. It's boring.
Mm.
All right, William. Everything that we just talked about, again, fascinating to me. I don't think any of that's fluff. I would spend so much more time in all of these departments and awesome
Dang
stuff.
right.
The last place we go is St. Mungo's Hospital. St. Mungo's
Mm-hmm.
is incredible. As you said,
Yeah, it is.
each place, I just asked you, what are the 7 departments that make up the Ministry of Magic? Again, a UHPT question. William, I'm not going to ask you name 15 unique ailments of patients at St. Mungo's Hospital during Harry's visit there. I won't ask you that, but I do want to talk about some of these. What I will ask you is, can you name the 6 floors in St. Mungo's Hospital? A measly level 5 question. 6 floors.
6th floor. Spell damage, 4th floor.
Well done. It's amazing.
Let's see. What does that lady say? She's like, "Can you read?" It doesn't stop you from reading, does it? Uh, there's a creature-induced injuries. Creature.
Yes, creature-induced injuries. Bites, stings, burns, embedded spines. Sounds horrible.
The visitors floor in the tea room.
Visitors tea room. I always thought that was like tier room for some reason, but that's because I can't read. So good call. Tea room.
Well, it's England. They're definitely tea, right?
I thought it was like where you go cry over your like dead relatives. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess.
No, it's tea room, obviously.
Drink
I'm
tea.
just being stupid. Yeah. I know it's
You can
tea
do
room,
both.
but no, it's not.
There was like magical ailments. No, that's not it.
Close.
Magical bugs. And there's like a
bugs.
potions and poisonings plant.
Potion and plant poisoning, and you're missing the first floor.
Something. Artifact accidents.
Artifact accidents is correct.
Is that the first floor? If you had asked me to name specifically which floor, I would not have gotten that.
Sorry, that's the ground
the
floor.
moment.
I apologize. Ground floor.
Ground floor. Sure.
William, we get to take 2 trips to St. Mungo's. This is, to me, again, very similar to Grimmauld Place, where it's just like some pretty horrifying magic happening around you. So fascinating, so fun to just imagine how these horrible things happened. We have people with elephant trunks coming out of them, people with extra hands sticking out of their chests, Someone whose head is clanging so violently that he has to hold it by the ears to hold himself steady. And then some much more sad things like a werewolf bite victim or people, tortured into insanity and memory loss and some horrible things like that. Again, it's classic Harry Potter where it's like, if you really think about this, this is horrifying and gruesome, but it's really displayed as mostly comical. But is it comical?
Mhm.
And then they do get more serious with like the werewolf, but we spend a lot of time there. I love every second there. I love the experimenting on Arthur. You brought up as a great point of like, is that filler? I don't think it's filler. We have a relationship
No,
with
I
Arthur
guess not
Weasley.
filler.
No, we love him. Like, this is happening. Like, things happen to characters that aren't Harry Potter in the book. Harry Potter. I love it all while we're in there.
Yeah, we visit the Janus Thicky ward, which is the long-term residence.
Somebody asked that somebody on YouTube gave some like pretty bad questions. Like, try giving him these questions. Like, two of them were from the movies. And I said, those are from the movies. Don't come in with that crap. And one of them was, what's what's
You
the
did
name
not
of the
say don't
ward?
come into that crap. You're so nice when you talk to people on the
Of
internet.
course I am. I'm begging them for likes and follows. Okay. So yes, I am nice. But someone did ask, has LeBron's
Just know
magic
people, it's definitely fake when Scott's being nice on the internet.
Sometimes I'm mean, like when the only times I'm mean is when I'm making fun of a movie scene and people are on there just to like clap back at that. Then I'm a little bit mean, but still. But someone did ask today, like, oh, are you, has your LeBron take changed after his magical first 3 games? And I commented for you and said, no, it has cemented the fact that we're all tired of hearing about this relevant team that's going to get swept in the next round. The Rockets are a joke. Why do we have to talk about this stupid series? Also, it's a joke that LeBron gets 3 games off between game 4 and game 5. Like he it's cheating. If he had to play tomorrow, which is how it should be, he'd be dead because he's already wiltering after 4 games where he had 8 turnovers and 10 points and showed everyone where Bronny learned how to dribble. He was watching his dad just D up LeBron. He can't dribble. He has never crossed anyone up his entire career. And those were my comments. And I said, that's what William would say if he were here. So I can be mean if I'm pretending to be you, basically.
No, I'm retiring from no, I'm not retiring from I regret nothing what I said on the podcast. Not a bit. There's a bunch of other things I regret of basketball conversations in a group text, but I do not regret a darn thing I said on the podcast.
You shouldn't, but we're also obviously never going to post like just a William hot take on NBA again. So
No.
the 13 listeners don't care as far as I can tell on the podcast.
If the Spurs win the championship, I get free reign.
Yeah, absolutely. It could be a 5-minute monologue.
Or even if they just beat OKC in the Western Conference Finals, that's good enough. I just get to come on here and light the world on fire and tell OKC to shut up.
5-minute monologue. Yeah. I think that's fair. St. Mungo's, great place. We've heard reference to it before this. We hear reference to it afterwards. This gives us quite a view into how great these healers are and what a crazy, insane place it is and how needed it is for, again, how needed the Ministry of Magic is to reverse all these things. But there's a lot of things that magical reversal squad shows up and like, you need to get to St. Mungo's, dog. I don't know how to handle this. And it's pretty awesome.
People are pretty trained. Like, remember when they're doing the apparition practice and then like Hannah Abbott leaves behind like her leg or something, and then they're like, boom, they fix it so fast. The teachers do.
Yes. Do we assume that she's squirting blood? Like, again, like we only see 2 splinches from Ron, and it's pretty horrible.
Yeah, it is pretty horrible. I mean, you could, or you could assume like it could be comically like literally like a fully formed leg that's like got a top over it. It could be
That's
that.
what Harry thinks, but I don't know. William, anything else on St. Mungo's before we wrap this up?
No, I think this part is super cool. Also, it's good to like check back in on so many people like Lockhart. And obviously, like Neville's story is like very interesting and all that. The tragedy of the magical world and the first war and what it took from people. Again, not filler. If you don't like this stuff, it's because you just want it to end or something. You don't really like the book that much. So just admit it. You just don't like the world it built.
go away. Let's hold on the Giants. I'm sure we can fit this in somewhere else. And let's finish up with another Fred versus George. I'm not, I'm not shirking on my
Let's do
duty.
it.
All right, William. We are headed to the Quidditch Final, Book 3, Chapter 15. And my question for you is, who retaliates on Bowl? Bowl hits Alicia in the face, thinking that her face was a bludger. And as you've said many times, you can basically do whatever you want in Quidditch, and it's a 10-point penalty if they make the shot. Anyways, Bowl hits Alicia in the face, and one of the twins shows his dismay by elbowing Bowl in the face and gets a penalty. Can you tell me which twin elbows Bowl in the face in retaliation?
George.
You are correct. As always. Not always, but you are correct. Is that a guess? Did you feel pretty confident on that?
I felt pretty confident. I just was, with any 50-50, it's like there is an element of guessing. Like I am like, I'm not, but I said it quick because I was like, because we talked about last week how often it's like, it feels like it's always Fred, right? Like I feel like Fred is like the 60-40 twin. Like they give Fred like a little bit more to do all the time. So I was like thinking about it and I was like, I feel like it's always Fred. But I was like, I feel like this one's George. So I said George. But like, if I was wrong, I just would have been psyched myself out because like we were just talking about how Fred is like the main twin.
I know. We did have 3 Freds in a row. So finally gave you a George. You were ready for it.
I promise you I did not remember the last 3, what those questions were.
I know you didn't. Especially since, we did one last week, and I feel like that was the first one in several weeks. But you are now at 15. You're at 15 out of 17 at 88%. So congratulations.
I got to get back up to an A, though. I got to get back up to an A.
You're close. You will. Congratulations. Next week, William, we will continue down the path of the 5th book. I think that we'll go into my potentially favorite part of the 5th book, which is like just Umbridge and Fudge getting owned by Dumbledore and by like the Weasley twins and like the chaos that happens and Peeves. And I want to go through all that stuff. I think it's some of the funniest stuff and just like all-time hero stuff in all 7 books.
And not filler.
No, it is not. Maybe we'll talk a little bit again more just about, the parting of the ways. And this is Voldemort's fight. It's not, we're not forgetting Voldemort. This is his fight. His fight is to convince people he doesn't exist. Anyways, I don't want to get riled up. William, we're under an hour. Half-Bloods.
Yeah, we are.
We'll be back in 2 days. So be ready for our shorter podcast. And we love you.